audio of the November meeting.
All right, so if y'all want to call it to order.
All right, in the absence of the chair, Barbara Thompson, I will now call this personnel meeting to order to discuss personnel policy updates.
Okay, so I have given you all a copy of the personnel policy. I don't know that you guys have received a copy, but in particular, there's a few things I need just housekeeping to clean up. But if you'll turn to page 25, our attendance policy, I have kind of highlighted it for you. It's that first flag you get to. It doesn't really define unexcused and excused. So the habitual absenteeism right now is just left up to the discretion of the department head. And I spoke with an HR consultant at Versa, also known as VML, and in this leaflet, I have given you a proposed attendance policy. So what this is, it's gonna give the department heads a leg to stand on for oral or written warnings. We're having a lot of call-outs, like unscheduled call-outs, and then it's leaving short-staffed. I mean, for example, Brittany's department alone had 13 unscheduled call-outs since August, between 3 employees.
And call out means all of a sudden you're expecting her to come to work and she didn't show.
Right, and stuff happens, and we're
Right.
good with.
Most of those cases, they call and say, look, the child's sick, or I'm sick, or
And that, yeah, and that's understandable.
it's only 3 people.
Well, it's between 3 people.
Your situation, not picking on anybody, it would be between, I would guess, Chastity, Jessica,
And Christie.
Christy, yeah.
But the thing here is, we don't want to show favoritism and write one up for habitual absenteeism and then another one call out and say they haven't done it all year. It's really vague. And so what this is proposing is you have to give at least 48 hours advance notice. If you don't, that's okay. Stuff happens. Kids get sick. If you have that doctor's note to back up, you call out. I mean, I'm sick.
Right.
If you have the doctor's note, it turns it to excused. What this is going to eliminate is I don't feel like coming to work because I have a headache. Where you don't go to the doctor. You don't have a doctor's excuse. And then someone else is having to come in or cover your shift or duties are left undone.
It's going to take the gray area for the department head. He or she will no longer be able to make those judgment calls.
And you're in this policy, you're allowed up to 2 a month of unscheduled.
That's nice.
But in 8 a year before you really have to, you'll get your normal oral warning, written warning. And then if you get 8 in a year, that's unscheduled. That's not, hey, I got a doctor's appointment next Friday. It's nothing like that. It's no doctor's note to back it up.
And if you call out, and then you go to the doctor, then it's not unexcused, that's excused.
But this would be the situation where now sick day. If I call at 7, if I leave a message at 7 a.m., I woke up throwing up, I'll burn a sick day if I have one.
Right.
That'd be a sick day.
Right. But if you.
Now, because I've been a union negotiator, I've been a union president.
Right.
Where they can get you on that is, okay, say like me, okay, I don't miss no time. And I say call you that I'm sick. I take off for 2 days. After the second day, it should be a policy. You should give up to 2 days. If you calling out sick, and then on the 3rd day, you bring a doctor's excuse.
And it does say that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
Employees with 3 or more consecutive days of excused absence because of illness or injury must give Town of Blackstone proof of physician's care.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're saying here, you call up, you wake up, you're throwing up. You're more than likely not going to go to the doctor. You're going to wait and see, let it run its course. So that can be a one unexcused. As long as you're not a habitual offender, stuff happens. What it is so if you're sick that second day, more than likely you're either going to do the act and go to a doctor, or so you'll bring in that doctor's note, and then that covers you for both those days.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really, legitimate reasons are understandable. I get it. And I think we all, like Philip, we've talked, we want to be flexible. We're fully staffed. All of us have family. We want to be there for people. If you can't come in, you can't come in. But what we want to eliminate are the habitual, I've got a headache, I'm not coming in, and then we're
Yeah,
scrambling.
if it's billing time and all that stuff, it's,
Right.
yeah.
And it's across the board, all departments. They
Leave
have-
pickup time, whatever.
All this is doing is giving the department heads a gauge. Whereas this policy that we have currently is very vague, and then that's where you can show favoritism. Well, you wrote me up, but he called out last week and you didn't write him up. It's, well, maybe he hadn't called out all year, but this is gonna give us that basis. And like I said, this was recommended, by Versa.
No, I don't knock this, you know, as long as it's fair along the line.
Yeah.
As long as it's fair
I
along
think
the
it's
line, I
more
don't
fair
have-
than our current policy, because we have nothing in our current policy. What we're trying to follow, what rules.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go along with it as long as it's done fairly, you know?
yeah, and I know what they're talking about, because when I worked at Heritage Hall, I had never worked at a place with so many people
Well, I
all
worked
the
for the
time.
federal government.
They're always short-staffed,
And
yeah.
so, a couple of days I was there by myself because, hey, people call out,
Yeah.
especially these young ones.
And it happens, and it's okay, but I just don't want it to, it seems to be getting abused, and there's really, what can you do? You can't write one up, that's where you get in a bad position, when you write somebody up and not the other one, but you don't have the document to back up anything.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
now, over here where you got this lead, I've been curious to find out about this.
Which one?
Over here on page 33,
Uh-huh.
okay, so this is annual leave,
Yes.
okay.
This is vacation time, what people accrue. So when you work here, your first 2 years of working here, every month you'll accrue 4 hours of vacation time. After you've been here for 2 years, you'll accrue 8 hours of vacation time. When you've been here after 10, you'll accrue 10 a month, and this is a month. It accrues the first paycheck of every month.
You can't carry it over year to year, can you? If they say,
Yeah.
So-
How much
It
can you
caps.
carry over?
Yeah, but
Yeah, gosh.
vacation time
go on a
does,
4-week cruise.
Well, how much can you carry over?
what is it, cap, the
there's a
maximum.
160.
160. It caps at 160, but you are allowed to cash in 40 hours once a year.
Right.
Almost as a benefit. Even if you don't use it and say you're getting ready to get to your cap, as long as you haven't done it in the last 12 months, you can cash in 40 hours. Even if you're not taking 40 hours, you can cash in 40.
And if you leave, if you're an employee that's leaving for greener pastures, whatever, if you've got vacation time you haven't taken, you get that money. That's law. We learned that 10 years ago, very, very clearly.
And then, one other cleanup item is overtime. I'm not trying to change overtime, I'm not doing anything like that. If you turn to page, it is your third tab that I've done for you.
on
It's
28.
page 28. So right now, it just reads, all hours of work in excess of 8 in a day or 40 in a work week. And then it notates the law enforcement because they have a different schedule. But this was another item. We have 2 other departments that work different shifts. We have the water treatment plant, they work 4 10-hour shifts. And then we have the bus drivers that work 10-hour shifts. Right now, by policy, and they've signed memos, and anything over their daily shift is overtime following this. But like the water treatment plant, they work 4 10s, so anything over 10 is overtime. For I think you guys work 12-hour shifts, correct? Anything over 12. So I had talked to Versa, this was months ago, it was just on my list to update. She said, you're okay, because everybody acknowledges what their shift is, and I have a signed paper. But for cleanup measures, I need to take out that in excess of 8, because I have different departments that have different shifts. So I need it to say, all hours of work in excess of their regular scheduled shift, whether that's 8, 10, or 12.
Correct.
That's what I need it to say, because that's by policy what we're doing. So I'm not doing anything changing what we're doing, that's just cleaning up the personnel policy to back up what we are doing. So those are the only 2 items I had. And if you guys want to think about it, when I do the minutes, if you don't want to make a recommendation yet, but I would like it on the agenda on the 16th, because Brittany and I've talked to a couple other department heads, we would like to make the attendance policy effective January 1, so that gives us a full calendar year to start implement the new policy.
That would be cleaner that way. Well, then I think one of y'all can make a motion second.
I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and look at implementing and bring before council this.
Yes, can't get away. I thought I was
The
getting away.
attendance.
Yeah, I thought-
I second.
All right.
I second.
All in
The
favor?
attendance and
The attendance and the regular shift change in the overtime
okay.
wording.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that's a recommendation for Monday, the 16th. Anything else from staff?
That's all I had. Barbara, I was just going over the attendance policy. You and I can go over
Okay.
that a little bit more. It's just getting into more specifics on call-out, unscheduled call-outs, but no
Okay.
doctor's note.
Sounds good. Anything?
I'm sorry, this
That's
is not
okay.
enough for me to go around.
That's,
It's possible.
I thought I was going and somebody just said, you left here, come a woman, come here to talk to me.
Philip's not here. Anything else he want to discuss on the agenda?
Philip,
I'll get it.
amplify.
I know we got two folks who are going to parade. I'm enjoying the Thursday night of the meeting. Philip, you got anything else?
You get your flu shot this year?
Madam Chair, the town manager has no other business. You want to adjourn.
Okay, do you wanna adjourn? That's it?
Y'all go ahead and join.
Meeting adjourned at 5:18.
We'll have a long one on the 16th, I imagine.
Hope not.